This video has been a long time coming. I am going to try and be as open and honest and 100% transparent as I can with you guys, and to simply put it, the channel is just not doing well. It really isn't. And that's no fault of anyone other than myself. I know that I have not been doing well enough. I know that the content I've been producing isn't good enough, and I think I've kind of in the recent weeks wanted to kind of take a step back and look at how the direction of this channel is going and kind of, try and remedy it in a way. And I don't have notes for this either, so I am going to be rambling. I do apologize, but um, one of the things that really, really bugs me about this channel and the nature of it is just how week to week it is, and kind of, how like game to game this channel has been. It really frustrates me that I can spend a lot of time on a video, and after literally the day of the game or the day after the game, it's completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter anymore. No one cares. Um, and for someone who genuinely does put in a lot of work to, you know, run this channel, I do a lot of work behind the scenes that doesn't really get noticed. I do a lot of work in the actual process of making, recording, and publishing videos. It's very, very draining working on something that just simply isn't working out. So, what my kind of idea is here, and what I'm gonna try and be trialing at some point in the near future, is I'm going to be trying to transition this channel to more kind of evergreen, rewatchable, narrative-based content and things like that. There's a few ideas I have for, videos that I'm interested in, videos that I'm kind of excited to actually make, and I think kind of lends into my skill set a little bit more. Um, and yeah, for the most part, I just again I've kind of spoken about this in the past with other kind of one of these kind of talking to the camera videos before, that like I'm very, very harsh on myself. I know that I am very, very harsh on myself. I feel like I could be doing better. I know that I can be doing better because I've done better in the past, and that's something that I kind of have to, kind of just tell myself and try and not blame anything else other than myself to kind of deal with. Of course, that comes with a lot of kind of doubting, and comes with a lot of hatred, and comes with a lot of um, kind of thoughts of giving up in a way. And I don't want to give up. I've spoken about this in the past, that I will try my hardest for this channel as much as I can, which is why I like to reinvent myself as much as I can and try and keep things fresh. Obviously, in recent times, I've been uploading some new content types. I've been experimenting with different things, as I so often do. Um, but these haven't worked, so yeah, it's getting to the point where it's like, and this sounds a bit doomer, and I don't want it to sound too bad, but it's getting to the point where I genuinely can't see myself doing this for much longer. Um, which again, it's really sad because I enjoy, you know, this. I've always said I want this to be a profession. I want this to turn from a hobby that I do into a profession, and that's why I'm so annoyed that I haven't been able to do that so far. Um, we are coming up to about 5 years of this channel existing. In October 19th is when I made this channel, and in those 5 years I have not really made it anywhere. The last 2 years have obviously been better. The first year of those 2 years was the best, obviously. This last year has been utterly draining and hasn't really got me anywhere. And looking back and looking at the kind of types of videos that I have on my channel that do perform well and are good content, because ultimately that's the defining factor, is whether a piece of content that I put out is good or not, is determines whether it does well or not. That all of the things which I've done before are evergreen concepts. They are, breakdowns of certain tactical styles that are relevant today, even. They are, thought pieces on certain, certain things back in when I was doing my top 5 lists and things like that. That, again, are rewatchable. They're things that aren't irrelevant after the first day. And I want to go back to doing something like that, and I want to go back to doing, you know, again, doing some stuff which personally on YouTube I enjoy watching, and I think that's something that I've kind of neglected. And again, I'm being honest here. I think it's something I've very, very much neglected in my content creation process is actually understanding what is enjoyable to watch. Because it's very well me saying, hey, I think people care about tactics and I can put out what I want and talk about tactics because I think it's interesting. In terms of it actually being a watchable experience, though, I've come to realize it is just not that. And again, maybe I'm being harsh on myself. Maybe there is some merit to the things I have been doing, but the evidence suggests otherwise, and I don't want to dwell on something that's not getting me anywhere. So I'm going to set a course of action of kind of what I'm going to be doing in the near future, and then hopefully in the far future too. I won't be stopping doing my live streams for watch-alongs. That's the first thing I want to say, because the watch-alongs actually do well. I really enjoyed doing them, and I think that they are obviously a concept that is quite watchable by nature. It's a watch-along. They are watchable, right? So they're not going to change. I enjoy doing the watch-alongs. I really like having that kind of community aspect of being able to talk to you guys, which I don't really get as much in my comment sections. But as for week-to-week analysis of Chelsea games, that's probably not going to happen anymore. And in the immediate future of me announcing this, I'm probably going to be taking a big break. I'm going to be taking, maybe a month or two off from uploading videos to this channel, just to kind of see if I can reset, and, reset. I'll come back with some more kind of stylized, particular niche type videos that I am actually proud to be able to say I've made. Because that's another thing which has been hitting me quite hard in the recent times that we've been having on this channel, is that I don't think I've released a video in about, let's say, 6 months that I'm even proud of, genuinely. I haven't had a video where I've, looked at my analytics and thought, wow, that did well, or, wow, I think that I actually came away from that video thinking, wow, I've made a good video. That is rarely actually happening. And if I'm, I'm gonna actually, during this recording, I'm actually gonna, I'm gonna look at stuff here. Let's actually find out when it was. It was the last time I made a video that I actually enjoyed. The last time I made a video that I was actually proud of was the, before the Club World Cup final. It was a video before the Club World Cup final where I talked about, how we could beat PSG. And that's the best video that I've had in that time. And when was that uploaded? I can't find out when it was uploaded. But, it was obviously before the Club World Cup final, so that's that. That's the last video I've really felt kind of proud of, and that was a massive, massive outlier on the channel. Like, in that time period, that's like the only thing that I've produced that I can actually hold my head up high and say, you know what, that's a good video. That's actually a good video. Everything else is utterly terrible. So yeah, I've obviously got some, SVL Evolution stuff. I have the career, I have the career mode, kind of being edited in the background as I'm recording this as well. And like, I'm probably gonna make those things members only from now on. They don't get enough views anyway, so I don't really, there's not really much point me actually, uploading them anymore. Again, it's taking away time that I could be spending, planning, think pieces out and actually planning, good quality videos out that I'm taking away from myself because I'm having to do, record this stuff, which admittedly, I do enjoy recording. I found them fun, but again, if they don't perform, they don't perform, and if you guys don't like them, then you guys don't like them. That's simple, right? This business, YouTube content creation as a whole, is a very consumerism based platform. It's a very, audience based platform. That's why it's so good, because if you genuinely do connect with your audience and you genuinely do make things that are good to watch, you will improve. And I truly do believe that, and that's something that I just unfortunately haven't been unable to do so far. But I'm a person that never, I never believe that I can really lose in a way, because I'm a person that believes that if you make mistakes, and I've made a lot of them in this journey, there is something to learn from every single one of those, and I don't think that I have particularly been doing that well enough until now. I don't think that I have been taking this seriously enough until now, and simply put, I'm putting my foot down. I'm I'm saying, hey, you know what? This channel is on a defib at the moment, and I'm going to try and bring it back to life in a way that I know how, and that's by, you know, genuinely sitting down and trying to make something good. Because I haven't been making things good for a long time now. And I think going even back to that first year, where we kind of, you know, had our big blow up, I think a big mistake that I did make then, and I can hold myself accountable for this, is that I started making one set of content and it was good and people liked it. And when the season started, I changed that because obviously I wanted to do game to game analysis and things like that. And that really severely hurt the channel. So I think I'm just going to, again, just give up doing that. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to cover games, you know. I'm not going to cover games and, you know, do my grayscales anymore. I'm not going to do the forward press anymore. I'm not going to do tactical breakdowns anymore. Because people don't care for them. Simple as that. People don't care. And no matter how many people in this the comments of this video will probably say, hey, I enjoy those videos, or what have you, you are a very, very loud vocal minority, unfortunately. And even though I appreciate the support massively in terms of that, you don't speak for the, you know, the YouTube sphere as a whole, unfortunately. So yeah, as I said, short-term kind of future that we're planning out, I'm going to be taking a massive break. I have been running myself into the ground in general for the last like year and a half at this point. I never even got to have my. I'm supposed to have a 2-week holiday for like the last year, and it's just never been. I've just never been able to, you know, settle down and plan it and get everything sorted. So that never happened. So I've been working non-stop pretty much. I had that kind of short break for the international break, but even then, that wasn't really much of a break for me because I was kind of panicking about what I was doing after that. Um, this one is going to be an actual good break, an actual, you know, a way for me to have a mental reset, plan some things properly, and not feel like I'm rushed into making content every single week. Because for the most part, that is what this has felt like to me. And again, this is me being transparent, this is me being honest. This hasn't felt like something that I've wanted to do, it's felt like something that I have to do. This channel has, for the longest time, felt like an obligation rather than something that I enjoy actually doing, which is the complete opposite of what it was when I first started. When I first started this, I was hyped every time I was like, cool, I want to get a video out, I want to do a recording. Now it's very much a kind of, and maybe you can tell this from, you know, the way that I talk and the way that I sound. Maybe I don't know, but now it feels very much like it's a chore. It's something that I don't want to do, but I don't want to let you guys down. So I'm kind of forcing myself to do, which is partly why at the start of this I said this has been a long time coming, because I've been thinking and feeling this way for over a year, at least over a year, and again, I was kind of forcing myself in a way to continue doing stuff that I didn't want to do because I was I was I was scared to kind of let you guys down and not have something to post. It's one of those things where it's like I've set this expectation on myself now that I post every single match day, I cover every single match at some point. And you know this from some of the posts that I make where I say like I'm just not in the headspace to talk about this game right now. I'm going to make a grayscale for the day after. It literally happened after the last game, the Brighton game. I said I didn't want to do it. That's partly because the result was bad, partly just because I hate it. I hate it. I genuinely do. I hate having to force myself to do stuff which I don't want to do anymore. And again, it's something where I feel like I owe it to myself a little bit more to not be a slave to the YouTube kind of machine in a way, and like not just get caught up in, hey, I need to pump out a video every week. So what I'm going to kind of be trying to do in the far future, if this break and this new content style works out, which I hope it does, I'm going to try and only post videos when I want to, and only post videos when I feel like I am proud of the video that I've made. Which will obviously lead to a lot less content on this channel, which I do apologise for, but that's hopefully it will be a case of quality over quantity, and hopefully it will be, you know, to the betterment of not only the channel but my mental health, this channel as a whole, in terms of what it used to be and what it can be now. Because I feel like it has kind of lost its identity. Obviously, with the rebrand we did recently, I kind of have lent myself into making this a bit more of a, you know, a football-based channel rather than just a Chelsea-based channel, and I haven't really been able to kind of experiment with that enough recently. or yet rather. So I'm gonna try and maybe do some of that. Um, there will obviously be a lot of Chelsea content on the channel still, and again, as I mentioned, watch alongs are not changing because those are actually good for the channel. They actually are fun, and because they are live streams and stuff, they don't really affect the actual kind of performance of the channel as a whole when it comes to everything else. Whereas when I upload other stuff and it tanks really badly, it kind of, plunges me into this kind of shroud of obscurity in a way that is now like, ah, well, this video is what you wanted to post. Well, it doesn't do well, so screw you. That's what it feels like anyway, even though that's not particularly the case. But yeah, I have been rambling for a long time. I don't even know when I'm gonna upload this, honestly. I've recorded this, and I'm probably gonna be a bit too, anxious to upload this, if I'm being honest. So I don't know when this will actually go out, but I'll probably continue uploading as normal until I kind of decide a cut-off point. Maybe after that month, if I feel mentally reset and I feel like I've got good concepts to come out with, I will be back in full force, and hopefully we can, strive on. In terms of day-to-day kind of, game-to-game kind of talk, the best way to kind of get that from me from this point will be from my Twitter. I'll put a thing on screen so you can follow me on my Twitter. Whenever there's like an actual game on, and obviously it's not me on my watch along, and if I'm talking about football, it will be on my Twitter. It's the easiest place for me to do it. Obviously I'm trying to grow a following over there as well, which is also kind of not working, but there we go. But yeah, so for that type of stuff, we're not going to be doing it on the channel anymore. We will be doing it, on there instead, in terms of, me just talking about day-to-day football stuff, and having a bit of banter with rival fans and stuff like that. But apart from that, yeah, this channel is going to be changing drastically. I think it's finally time for me to have done that. Now, I'm not going to ask you guys to like and subscribe or any of that stuff like I normally do, but I do want to thank you guys for listening if you've gotten this far into the video. And for maybe the last time, because I don't know if I'm going to do this outro ever again, but remember, football can be as simple as black and white. Peace.